Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be your program director for this session. My name is Buitumelo. I'm known as Pinky Moloi. I'm currently the Deputy Minister for the Department of Employment and Labor, deputizing Minister Nxesi. So I'm sure you are all aware why we are here this morning. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to take this opportunity to welcome in our midst. And by the way, we are currently joined virtually by at least above 100 other participants. So we are not the only ones. So we were expecting above 200, but at least above 100 people have joined us. But let me also take this opportunity to introduce and welcome amongst us dignitaries, important people who are amongst us this morning. We've got, we are really blessed this morning to be graced by the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency David Dabete Mabuza. Amongst us, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause just to welcome the Minister, please. Thank you. Amongst us, we have the Minister of Employment and Labor, and Tulas Walter Maid. Sometimes they call him Watermelon, but Mr. Walter Maid, Utisha Mkhulu, Mhlonishwa, and Tulas Nxesi amongst us. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined also by our director, executive director, Lisa Setfield from NEDLAC, who's amongst us. You can also applaud her to be here. This is Lisa's project, by the way. So we will be also, among others, ladies and gentlemen, be joined by the Director General of the ILO, Mr. Guy Ryder, who's going to be joining us virtually. He will be joining us at 9 o'clock this morning. Among other dignitaries, we will be joined by members of the Portfolio Committee of Employment and Labor who will be joining us, who have joined us virtually. And we are also happy to announce the presence and participation of in this summit of Her Excellency Ambassador Thenjiwe Mtintso, who will be joining us virtually, and will also be joined by Ntate Jewel Netsitenze, who will be joining us virtually from 9 o'clock also, and Mr. Kawe, who will be joining us as a speaker. Among others, we've got the leader of business, Mr. Martin Kingston, who has joined us here physically. We've got the leader of the community constituency, Ntate Tulani Chefuta, leader of organized labor, Ntate Begin Jalinjali, Mr. Virgil Seafield, who's representative of government, who's part of us, and all other executive directors of our sister organization from NEDLAC, leadership and representatives of other constituencies who are here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the fact that we are, this summit is the 25th, we are on the 25th year of this summit. And this summit, I must say that it happens at a time when the world battles a pandemic. And I'm sure we are all aware of the effects of which haven't been felt in a century since the Spanish flu in 1918. So the necessary lockdown regulations imposed by government unfortunately had a very devastating effect on the economy. The job market faces uncertainties, and more than ever before, our economy needs a very strong partnership between government, civil society, business, and what other body can do that better? We think that NEDLAC is therefore a critical platform for the meaningful and hard conversations we need to have as a nation regarding our economy. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call on stage our Minister, Minister Tulas Nxesi, who's going to give us the opening remarks, and introduce the keynote speaker. Thank you so much. Wait.
Sorry.
That's what happens when a minister is standing next to you. You shake.
Let me have that.
No.
Okay, don't worry. Thank you, Program Director, the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour. Deputy President, Honorable D.T. Mabuza, the Minister of Public Enterprises, who's virtual, the Director of the ILO, Guy Ryder, the Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee on Employment and Labour, and Her Excellency Ambassador Mtintso, the Directors General and the senior officials who are present, the Executive Director of NEDLAC, other speakers, Mr. Nechitenze and Mr. Kawe, the leadership and representatives of the constituencies present here, the leader of organized business, Mr. Martin Kingston, the leader of the community constituency, Mr. Tulani Shefute, the leader of organized labor, Mr. Begin Chalinchali, the leader of government, Mr. Virgil Seffield, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be part of this important event when we reflect on the work of NEDLAC and look towards the days to come. We can all agree, as the Deputy Minister has already said, that this has been a difficult year, a major shock to the system. The pandemic and the subsequent lockdown to slow the spread of the virus have placed major pressure on the labor market. It is times like this that we truly understand the importance of building and supporting strong labor market institutions such as NEDLAC. The 2020 COVID-19 crisis has demonstrated the importance of social dialogue and social compacting beyond a shadow of doubt. NEDLAC did what it does best, bringing together all the social partners, forging a united comprehensive response to the crisis. We see this in many ways, but particularly the following: developing a system for bulk distribution of COVID-19 TERS benefits through the bargaining councils and company payrolls, of course, with problems. Working together on the health and safety regulations to govern the return to work, ensuring the protection of workers and the clients whilst building the buy-in from all concerned. So NEDLAC processes have also played a vital role as we move into the next stage, developing and implementing a national economic recovery plan. I need to flag some of the major challenges we face in the road ahead, and in particular, navigating the changes in the world of work as we mitigate the disruptive effects of the fourth industrial revolution and digitization, and developing strategies for a just transition whilst ensuring that we embrace the many opportunities that come with technological change. In relation to the goal of energy sustainability, ensuring a just transition for those workers and communities linked to the carbon-intensive technologies. NEDLAC processes, bringing together all social partners and promoting social dialogue, have been and will continue to be central to these processes in the years to come. That's very, very critical. That's how serious we should take this particular institution. Even if from time to time we have differences, but we must focus on the ball. I'm honored today to introduce the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, the Honorable David Dabete Mabuza. Andikwazi ukusuka Deputy President, Honorable President, kulo DD. Sisakhula, angikwazi ukusuka. So it's Honorable DD Mabuza. Born at the Polar Trust in Mpumalanga Province in 1960, he obtained the Bachelor of Arts degree in Psychology from UNISA. In 1989, following an achievement of the National Teacher's Certificate from Umgwenya College of Education, President Cyril Ramaphosa first saw him as the Deputy President of the Republic on the 27th February 2018, and again on Thursday, 30th May 2019, for the 6th Democratic Administration following his appointment to this role. President Ramaphosa, with the new delegated responsibility, has tasked the Deputy President, Didi Mabuza, in 2019 to 2014 term of government, tasked him in a number of responsibilities. These are the leader of the government business in Parliament, leading government efforts to fast-track the land reform and the coordination of the government program to accelerate land reform and agricultural support, to assist the President to stimulate and support the rural and township economies through implementing empowerment models, to assist the President in the implementation of the rapid response interventions on service delivery and troubleshooting in service delivery hotspots, to coordinate anti-poverty initiatives through, amongst others, the public employment programs, integrated service delivery and enterprise development. Also to lead the South African National AIDS Council, SANAC, and the country's integrated response to the challenges of HIV and AIDS. To also assist the President in efforts towards building a better Africa. To support in investment facilitation and trade promotion, and to lead the National Human Resource Development Council and foster collaboration between the governments and social partners towards addressing the shortage of skills in critical sectors of the economy, and to promote cohesion initiatives, including being the patron of the moral regeneration. These are just amongst others which the Deputy President is responsible for. The last addition is the Deputy President chairs the Cabinet Committees on Governance, State Capacity and Institutional Development, as well as Justice, Crime Prevention, Security Cabinet Committee. And previously, Deputy President has held a number of positions in government, including Premier of the Mpumalanga Province from 2009 to 2018. The member of the Executive Council, that's MEC for Agriculture and Land Administration, from 2008 to 2009 in Mpumalanga. MEC for Roads and Transport, 2007 to 2008. Member of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, 2004 to 2007. The member of the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa from 2001 to 2004. And the Mpumalanga MEC for Housing, 1999 to 2001, and MEC for Education between 94 and 98. So, Mr. Didi Mabuza has also risen through the ranks of the governing party, the African National Congress, where he is serving as the Deputy President of the African National Congress since December 2017 to date, having also been elected the chairperson of Mpumalanga from 2008 to 2017, ex-official member of the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the ANC since 2007, the deputy chairperson of the ANC Mpumalanga in 2005, the coordinator of the National Education Crisis Committee from 1987 to 1989, the chairperson of the National Education Union of South Africa from 1986 to 1988. That's where we met. the treasurer of the Foundation for Education with the production from 1986 to 1990, and secretary of the Azanian Students Organization, AZASO. Not Liamazimzim, Le AZASO, which later changed into SANSCO, and today is SASCO. I hope I'm right to learn. So from 1984 to 1985. And Deputy President, he's a trained mathematics teacher by profession and became a school principal before moving into politics. His passion still remains for education, and he established the DD Mabuza Foundation in 2014, focusing on education and the social upliftment of the vulnerable groups, such as children, child-headed households, the aged, and the persons with disabilities. It's my honor, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the Deputy President, Honorable Mabuza. Over to you, DP. Yeah, it's on.
Thank you very much. We can take our seat. Program Director, Deputy Minister of Employment and Labor, Ms. Boitumelo Uloi. Minister of Employment and Labor, Mr. Tulas Ngesi. NEDLAC Executive Director, Ms. Lisa. South Africa's ambassador to Spain, Ms. Tenjiwe Mtinso. International Labour Organization Director General, Mr. Guy Rader. Mapungube Institute for Strategic Reflections Executive Director, Mr. Joel Nechitenze. Members of NEDLAC's government, organized labor, business, and community constituencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the National Economic Development and Labor Council, hence this 25th annual summit. NEDLAC was one of the first post-apartheid institutions established at the birth of our democracy. Over the 25 years, NEDLAC sought to consolidate our democratic revolution and has proven to be an indispensable institution and a platform for the promotion of equitable participation and representative social dialogue. This fits well with the value that the post-democratic government put on consultation, on participation, and inclusivity. The organizers of this annual summit requested some remarks on the theme of social compacting for economic recovery in the time of COVID-19. This is an important theme when government is galvanized to lead society to address the cumulative effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. At this moment, not only as South Africans and the world been confronted with a once-in-a-century disruptive event, the COVID-19 pandemic, but we have had to address it in a situation of economic distress. The COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis has taken a toll on all South Africans. Moreover, we face the possibility of a resurgence of the virus, not only as we move into the December period, but also at the start of the year as travelers return to work, and later as we move from summer to winter. In the beginning, when the pandemic reached our shores, our response was to ensure that our health system has the capacity to carry the increasing burden of treatment for those infected by COVID-19 in order to save lives, while ensuring that the provision of normal health care services is not adversely affected. The raft of measures we had to implement to contain the virus and flatten the curve of new infections included the implementation of a nationwide lockdown that impacted on our economic activities and jobs. Whereas these measures have assisted in a great deal in preventing a catastrophe, we regret that many of our compatriots lost their lives, including frontline workers who died in the line of duty. Nevertheless, we are of the view that if it was not for organized business, organized labor and community in their own constituencies and working collectively at NEDLAC, we would have been worse off in our response to this pandemic and the nationwide lockdown. In the same vein, we would like to applaud your efforts in supporting each other, the efforts at income replacement through the COVID-19 Temporary Employer-Employee Relief Scheme, the payment or contribution holiday that were negotiated, the collaboration and provision of technical expertise, for example, to introduce innovations in social grants and the rapid mobilization of the much-needed resources by the Solidarity Funds. Further, I understand that there has been more agreements and speedy collaborations than ever before at NEDLAC on issues such as health and safety in the workplace, measures to make transport safer, and the promotion of locally produced personal protective equipment. More than at any other time in the recent history, the role and function of NEDLAC is an existential necessity to assist in mobilizing confidence and credibility for the economic reconstruction and recovery plan. Government also welcomes and has embraced the speedy work of the social partners in delivering a social compact to turn the economy around. The widening trust deficit between government, labor and business demands full support of the structural interventions and enablers contained in the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan. We are committed to the speedy implementation, especially of the necessary structural reforms and long outstanding measures in areas such as energy security and digital migration. And we are further committed to work with social partners where implementation requires a coordinated approach, as well as to continue to discuss the difficult issues that can make our economy recover in a very sustainable and enduring way. As we have said before, the National Development Plan, like the Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, is not the responsibility of government alone. Its effective implementation requires the participation of all stakeholders to decisively deal with the socio-economic challenges of poverty and inequality. Without addressing these socio-economic challenges, then the foundation to nation building and social cohesion will not become sustainable. Equally, it demands of the private sector to assimilate these blueprints into their strategic and operational plans. Surely, it's not enough to reduce community empowerment to a ticking box exercise through corporate social responsibility. Hence, it was reassuring to hear the leader of Business Unity South Africa earlier this year acknowledge that the levels of inequality in our country is now an economic risk, and that purposeful partnership are necessary to get our economy, our democracy, and our wonderful country back on track. Let us agree that economic inequality undermines human rights for women and young people who remain largely excluded from the economic mainstream. The fault lines of inequality encourage not only absence of shared social cohesion, but contribute to the delegitimization of both the public and the private sector. In measuring ourselves to deliver a better life for all, since 1994, it will be on the basis of extending people's capabilities, which translate to what Amartya Sen calls it substantive freedom. The capability approach, as espoused by Sen, amounts to giving citizens and communities opportunities and levers to empower themselves, since, as Sen says, freedoms are not only the primary ends of development, they are also among its primary means. Therefore, We cannot advance nation building and social cohesion without economic inclusion, without removing the barriers of entry for small businesses, and without integrating women and youth in activities that significantly improves the elemental conditions of their lives. In fact, social cohesion is directly shaped by the material levels of equality. In our quest to build a sustainable future that is premised on achieving, among others, spatial equality, as government, we are prioritizing the inclusion of women, the inclusion of young people, and people with disabilities in the unfolding land reform program. Attending to the land question, it's a justifiable, important action for meaningful nation building and for unlocking untapped agricultural and industrial economic potential for the country's development. In our view, failure to address the land question is unsustainable, and the prevailing conditions provides a fertile ground for social discord and political instability. In finalizing the land reform program, we also look towards NEDLAC as a platform for consultation, for participation, and social compacting to once again play a key role in taking that process to its logical conclusion. We consider this 2020 summit as particularly very special, since it is an occasion to sign the framework agreement for a social compact on supporting ESCOM for inclusive economic growth. Purposeful partnerships through social compacting are very important to support the enhancement of our maturing and the bureaucracy critical for the provision of services in a non-partisan manner. This is in the main premise on an argument of the Indlulamiti scenarios, which says that levels of interpersonal and intergroup trusts are about the shared expression of common values and a common vision as encapsulated in our country's Bill of Rights and the National Development Plan. This is why we are excited to be witnessing the signing of this social compact, as it signifies confidence in ESCOM and its importance to the South African economy. This is in sync with the work of the political task team that is shared by the Deputy President to bring together players within government towards the resolution of challenges that are faced by ESCOM. The resolution of the ongoing ESCOM matter and stabilization of the energy supply is critical to inclusive economic growth, employment creation, and poverty reduction. The negotiation of this social compact, which began a year ago, when we were all seized with the energy crisis that was facing our country then, with the prospects of load shedding and high electricity prices. This year has seen significant stabilization of ESCOM operations under the current leadership, and with the support of the ESCOM political task team, there is a clear path towards energy security. The social compact remains relevant and will be very important, vital, to hold ESCOM to account, to rectify the problems of the past and serve the people of this country with sustainable supply of electricity going forward. It is sincerely encouraging that social partners representing diverse constituencies and institutional mandates manage to find common ground on a pragmatic and sensible program of action with clearly identifiable timelines and milestones to, among others, identify and support innovative, cost-effective funding mechanism to reduce ESCOM's debt, identify measures to assist ESCOM and government to access fresh capital where required. We therefore look towards your active participation beyond these noble ideals, because in our view, as the ESCOM political task team, the debt and liquidity challenges of these strategic assets call for extraordinary intervention to ensure that ESCOM is supported and brought back into operational and financial sustainability. As government, we are fully behind the management of ESCOM, and we seek nothing other than its success. Later in the summit, we will be addressed by the Director General of the International Labour Organization, Mr. Guy Ryder. This is indeed a privilege for NEDLAC to attract so eminent a person to address us. The ILO has been leading discussions on the future of work and have identified key drivers, namely climate change, technological innovations, demographics shifts, and globalization. Indeed, COVID-19 pandemic has, to a greater extent, fast-tracked some of these drivers. Government thus recognizes the urgency in which we should be responding to and harnessing the positive opportunities posed by the future of work, while mitigating against the adverse impact that are posed by automation and artificial intelligence, as an example. It also requires of the social partners to deliberate on the necessary changes to our skills strategy, labor legislations, and social security dispensation, so that the ideal of decent work can continue to be realized under these new conditions. For us in the Human Resource Development Council, we recognize that COVID-19 has made more urgent the need to develop skills and training that is innovation-led and technologically advanced. In this regard, would like to acknowledge the recent collaboration with the ILO on a series of webinars on the future of work, and we trust that the recommendations coming from these dialogues will be taken forward in the new year. The NEDLAC Annual Summit is also an occasion where the annual report of the prior year is released to the public. Due to the lockdown, annual reports are being released later than usual after the conclusion of the financial year. Nevertheless, NEDLAC should be congratulated on the successful release of its annual report. Congratulations. It demonstrates that the vast majority of performance indicators were achieved and an unqualified audit opinion was obtained. Perhaps after a quarter of a century, it is an appropriate time to reflect on the role of NEDLAC and perhaps to ask the question about its relevance and whether it is still fit for purpose. We understand that this question was posed a year ago at the 24th Annual Summit. Out of concern and frustration that social partners were not able to proactively and together address joblessness and poor economic growth. Government is of the view that the actions of social partners at NEDLAC has answered the question of NEDLAC's relevance. However, the question of whether NEDLAC is fit to achieve the relevant roles it has taken on this year in respect of not only economic recovery and responding to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also extending decent working conditions to increasing the number of atypical and informal workers, as well as embracing the future of work, must still be addressed with agency. The ESCOM Social Compact and the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan deserves our full support. There is no room for apathy and cynicism. There is no tangible benefit in being enemies of hope. Rather, we all benefit together when we are friends to optimism. NEDLAC remains an appropriate platform that is capacitated to pursue issues for which we have got a common interest. We must spare no effort in repositioning NEDLAC to become a relevant platform for social dialogue in our country. If we are to build NEDLAC into a vibrant and agile institution that is fit for purpose, we have to move swiftly to amend its founding legislative instruments so that there's inclusion and participation of the community constituency in all chambers and structures of NEDLAC. Consensus is built through negotiations and not coercion. We reach a win-win outcome if we do not become entrenched to our private interests, but prioritize the common welfare. Compromise and trade-offs are central in this instance and not the pursuit of a zero-sum game where eventually no one comes out a winner. In this regard, communication is a key tool to employ, not only the constituencies we represent, but also to get the buy-in of the citizens and broader communities of our country. We mention this since part of the ESCOM Social Compact, it's about the revival of the campaign to encourage our people to pay for basic municipal services and to stop illegal electricity connections. Our people, our communities must pay for electricity if ESCOM is to succeed. Doing so is it's in our best interest as a country as we mark this significant milestone in NEDLAC's existence. We wish you all the best in today's deliberations. Let us take the ideas that will emerge from this deliberation forward in ensuring that we deepen equitable participation and representative social dialogue. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, this thing is scary. Thank you so much, Deputy President. Before I release you, Deputy President, I think we do have guests who are participating, delegates who have joined us virtually, and I think we have deliberately muted the mics of our participants who have joined us virtually, deliberately so. But we urge our participants, our delegates, to participate through asking questions and providing some comments during the sessions. And where we have invited speakers, you can use or utilize the question and answer function on the Zoom screen that is available for your participation. And for all those who are participating through YouTube, you are also welcome to our summit, and you can also join the YouTube link through the NEDLAC website.